listening to the Floyd Main Street Podcast. Good afternoon, everybody.
Hey guys, how y'all doing today?
Doing pretty well. It's your host, Lucas Graham, here, back with another week's episode of the Floyd Main Street Podcast. With me today, I've got the people that you've heard before. I got Mr. Chad Harris with us today.
Hey, everybody.
And Mr. Eric Branscombe.
Hey, how's everyone doing?
We got a lot to unpack here for you today, and sticking true to our guns and what we do here on the Floyd Main Street Podcast, we're going to jump right into the news. First topic of the week I would like to talk about is anybody that's come through town may have noticed that there has been a change in the speed limit sign coming outside of town on Route 8. I'm going to let Chad talk about that, if you will, about the change in that speed limit sign and the area exactly where it's at.
Sure, yeah. So on Route 8 North, just outside of town, if you're coming to Floyd, once you pass the vet clinic there and right before you get to the green boxes, you'll notice that there's a speed limit sign change. And that change has went from 45, 35, 25 to now 40. So right there at the green boxes, you'll enter a 40 mile an hour zone, and that continues all the way to, I guess, probably the town limit, where it will change down to 25. So coming by Citizens, all that now is 40 miles an hour.
So that increased by 5 miles an hour.
It increased by 5 miles an hour by Citizens, and it decreased 5 miles an hour by Family Dollar.
Okay. All right. So make sure you notate that next time you're coming in or out of town.
Who was it that makes that? I mean, it's not the town or the county that makes that decision, is it?
I assume VDOT.
Okay.
I don't remember getting a direct notification on it like others had mentioned. Kind of saw it there, sign standing up one day. So just make sure you take note of that. Make sure you don't want to get pulled over. Keeping in other news here, the Floyd County Sheriff's Office is hiring a 911 dispatcher. If you've never looked into being a 911 dispatcher, it can be a very fast-paced job, but they handle all the 911 and non-emergency calls that come into Floyd County. They also dispatch deputies, the EMS, and the fire department. But if it's something that you're interested in or would like to know more information about, reach out to Floyd County Sheriff's Office, okay? And this, actually, talking about dispatch, this week coming up is the National Telecommunicator Week for dispatchers. A lot of times they can be the unsung heroes in a situation, but they are the first person you will ever talk to in an emergency. So if you personally know of any 911 dispatchers, make sure to thank them this week, because this week is there for them.
Well, I can tell you that sounds like, from my experience working with dispatchers, it's hours of boredom punctuated by moments of absolute terror and panic when things happen all of a sudden on a perfectly quiet night. But we got some good people over there. They got years of experience and managed to keep their cool, and that's what the guys in the field need.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping it in the same realm there, Eric. Do we have any news or updates that's coming on from the court system or drug court?
Well, the main thing we've had lately is the Floyd County Drug Court. It's also known as the Floyd County Recovery Court. That we have been going along real well with that. We're several years into it now, and I think we're probably 6 or 7 years in. And we've had another set of graduations go through. And for those who don't know, the idea of the drug court is to take people that we have that are either having on probation or have charges that are either drug related or driven by drug use. And these people to get into that, they're carefully evaluated to see that that the drug addiction is essentially the source of the problem, and special grants that we get from federal government and from the state to help people get over this. And the whole goal is, instead of turning people into felons and to pushing them into more and more jail times, to try to solve that problem and break that cycle and turn them into more productive citizens. And really, and this was the way Judge Long used to look at it, this is a money saver for the county and the state, because it costs upwards of $50,000 a year to incarcerate somebody in the Department of Corrections. And it's a lot less than that to have someone go through the drug court and fix them for life.
That's right. Even our local jail, the cost associated for one inmate is somewhere around $36 per day.
Per day.
Wow. And I mean, oftentimes it seems like, too, these people, for whatever reason, they get in these situations, but then they enter the criminal justice system and then they leave it with nothing. They're back
Right.
out on the street. They don't have a job. They don't have a place to stay. But programs like this are trying to aid them for people that want help, that want to work through it, to have a better life and have a different outcome so they don't fall into those same traps that they have before.
Yeah, the whole idea is to fix the problems instead of just putting a Band-Aid on it and not paying attention to it. To fix the underlying problem and to actually make the whole system better.
Chad, I know that there was some recent Board of Supervisors stuff going on. I'm not even too sure exactly what specifically they had going on, but can you elaborate on any new updates over there?
Yeah, a lot going on. It was a 5-hour meeting, give or take, that I watched on YouTube. I'll try my best to get through this without boring everybody to death, and I'll kind of go over the topics of discussion in order. That way, if there's something that interests you and you want to go back to YouTube and maybe watch the board meeting, you can. You'll know, hey, it was before this, but after this. And that YouTube page would be Floyd County Government on YouTube. Okay. And it's the Floyd County Seals, which you'll be looking for there. But first off, so there was a VDOT representative there that spoke, and supervisors voiced their concerns on the roadways and how their diminishing social services came in, spoke on foster care funding. The president of the New River Community College come in and spoke on the ACE program. Mr. Bolt, our building inspector, he discussed some things, one being purchasing a new box truck for the transfer station, purchasing a generator, and also getting a tipping shed purchased, and the grade work and things that would be involved on that. There was discussions on the convenience center out in Willis. Some of you may or may not know the county's building a convenience center out there on 221, right close to the county line. Just past Sugar Tree is where the new convenience center in Willis will be. The discussion on that is, though, and I found this interesting, once they have that up and running, their plan is to take all the green boxes from Topeka Church, the ones on 221 just above Kyle Weeks, Vaughn's Mill Road, and Buffalo Mountain Road on 221. So they're planning on taking all those out and moving those to this one center. So that's interesting enough. So if you live in that area, you may have to drive a little further to take your trash off. The Register came in and talked about this upcoming election. There was one public speaker, which was Mr. Gerald Vest, who voiced his concerns on the rescue situation. That's probably a topic for another day there. One of the board members did respond, which is interesting because that usually doesn't happen. Her response was that in order to house a rescue squad station in an area other than Floyd, which is already covered, it would take 3 crews at 24/7 coverage. That would be a tax increase of 3%. That's kind of painful to hear. Anyways, on to the next topic here. They're talking about financing a trash truck, $410,000 there.
Okay.
They're requested that Cardinal News, which is an online newspaper, be our official paper of record. I think they were going to submit a letter to Judge Fleener on that.
That's just kind of more along with the fading of the Floyd Press.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. So the director of public safety, he spoke about a match grant for a piece of equipment. He was challenged a little bit there by one of the supervisors. They declared a proclamation to honor patriots, 19 men and women, and that day will be April 26th. They discussed this absorbent that they have spread across these ball fields, and that's supposed to help the dirt dry out quicker. It's pretty interesting. And then the library pavilion, they had a groundbreaking on that for the new library pavilion. And the burn ban, that's been tabled for 2 more weeks at the request of fire chiefs to maybe push that off before they make a final decision on lifting that. So the next board meeting, I assume that will be discussed, and hopefully you'll be able to burn your brush by then.
Okay, so this is April 12th and we're recording it. It's wet and rainy, but we're still in a drought situation.
Yeah, it's still dry.
And I think that's the main concern, and so they're still waiting to see if we get, and we'd still have the burn restrictions through the end of April anyway, wouldn't we? It would have to be burning after 4 p.m.
Right.
So even if we had that, but apparently, so we're still going with the burn ban, at least for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Eric, you talked about it last week. Do you want to talk about some sports in Floyd County? Because I know we got some programs and some teams that are doing pretty well.
It's baseball season, and we got baseball and softball. We got tennis going on. Let me just go through a few things. I can tell you the varsity softball team. Let's lead off with them. The varsity softball team, from everything it looks to me, that they seem to be undefeated so far. So they're 5-0. This past week they had 2 games against Patrick Henry, one at home and one away. One of the home game they won by 19-0. So that's pretty impressive. They've got games coming up this week. We've got one on Tuesday the 15th. That's a home game against Carroll County. On the 17th, they've got a away game down in Glenver. And of course, they've got a schedule that keeps on going after that. But that's a team that's doing really well. But let me tell you something. All of our teams look like they're doing good. We've got the varsity baseball team. From what I'm seeing from the high school site, is that they are currently at 8 games in. They're 6-2 record. They have this past week. They had 2 games against Patrick Henry, one at home here and one away, and they won both of them.
Wow.
They won a game against Patrick County on the 10th. We've got another game coming up this week on the 15th on Tuesday against Carroll County. That's an away game. And in Glenver, that's away. Their next home game is against Radford on April 22nd at 5 o'clock over at the high school. So they're doing really well.
Yeah.
We also have, so for this week, what we have coming up on Monday at 4:30, we got tennis girls varsity match at 4:30. It's a home game at the high school. Like I said, Tuesday the 15th, you got the softball game, Coach Starkey Field. Let's see. On the 16th, that's on Wednesday, we've got the tennis boys team. They are playing against Patrick County. That's at the high school. And then finally on Thursday the 17th, on top of the other games we got going on, we have an outdoor track meet going on at the high school. So on Coach Beal Field. So there's a lot of stuff going on out there. I should mention on the girls varsity team, not all the scores are up there from everything that we're seeing, but it looks like the girls varsity team is also doing well. It looks like a 3-0 record so far, and they have games coming up against Carroll County and Patrick County. So, look, we got a lot of spring sports going on out there, and let me tell you something. There are a lot of sports with middle school sports.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's the elementary school, so forth. So it's hard to keep up with it all. I'm just trying to cover the varsity thing. But they're doing a bang-up job this season. If you like baseball like I do, this is a good time to get out and support those teams.
Yeah, just like I believe it was mentioned last week, don't hesitate to get out there and support your Lady Buffs and your Buffaloes. Warmer weather's approaching us, and hopefully it'll be here to stay before long. Don't be afraid to get out there and enjoy the pretty weather, spring air, and again, support your Buffaloes and Lady Buffaloes. I think we're going to move on to some community events because I know that there's a few things going on this week that we want to touch on. Go ahead and mention first, it looks like the Willis Full Gospel Church there on Birch Fork Road in Willis is going to be having a Resurrection and Life at their church. They've got 3 dates coming up on Friday, April 18th, Saturday, April 19th, and Sunday, April 20th. Those are all at 7 p.m. And it'll be the Resurrection and Life at the Willis Full Gospel Church. So y'all be sure to check that out. I know that the good folks out there at the Willis Full Gospel Church put a lot of time and effort and heart into this, and it would be well worth your time to go check that out. Again, that's the Willis Full Gospel Church on Birch Fork Road. All right, Chad, what you got for us in Floyd this week?
Yeah, so Floyd County FFA is hosting the 2nd annual Drive Your Tractor to School Day, and that's Friday, April 25th.
All right, good deal. That'll be fun for students. I can't imagine.
Everybody be careful on that Friday morning driving in because there'll be a lot of tractors on the road, and they're only going to go but so fast.
That's
so
very
allow
true.
a little extra time. Don't be impatient. These kids are all part of trying to get on into the school.
Good deal. And Eric, do you have anything for us? I think there's some stuff going on at Angels in the Attic, isn't there?
I saw from Angels in the Attic, apparently a lot of people are out there doing spring cleaning because they got overloaded with donations, and they have asked for a temporary halt in accepting donations. Now, this will be through till Monday the 14th, so hopefully on the 14th they're going to be able to start accepting them again, but they're trying to work through this backload of all these clothes that have been donated to them.
Okay.
Which brings up, it's always a good time. People that want to volunteer their time, they
Yeah.
need that to help sort through all of this material they're getting with people spring cleaning.
Yeah, oftentimes we'll have people reach out for different reasons and ask, how can I help? How can I help? And it's one good thing about this community is there are a lot of people that want to help, and those folks down at Angels in the Attic could definitely use yours if you have the time available. So definitely check that out. One thing that I do want to touch on real quick, Chad, if you can help us out. I know that now that the podcast has been launched, and some of you, this will be the second time hearing us, but you may not know how to completely reach out to us. I don't know if maybe you're seeing this on or listening to this on YouTube, or you saw it on Facebook or Spotify. But there's multiple ways that you can reach out to us, and I just want to take a dedicated second to make sure that you, the listener, knows all the ways that you can reach out to us for anything, questions, concerns, events, all the above. Chad, how can they find us?
Absolutely, you've pretty much covered it. So last week we spent the majority of our spare time just trying to get this launched and put on different sites. Currently, as of right now, we're on Amazon, Spotify, YouTube. Of course, we've got a Facebook page, and you can email us.
Okay.
So several ways to reach out or listen to us.
Okay. And that email?
The email is going to be Floyd Main Street Podcasting at yahoo.com.
Okay.
And our Facebook page, Floyd Main Street Podcasting.
Okay. Same name for YouTube too, isn't it? I think.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So feel free to reach out to us, Eric, if you want to elaborate on any of the things that we're looking for here.
We're looking to try to get the news out to all the happenings in the county. The people that have events, any charity events from churches or other organizations that are trying to put things on, public events. Those are the sort of things we're trying to let everybody know about. There are going to be we're not going to be able to cover everything because I can tell you, we're coming up in the warm weather. You're going to have people wanting to do yard sales and so forth. But we try to keep up with that. Like I know that we've got the community yard sale over at Citizens coming up on May 10th. I mean, we'll try to cover bigger events like that, but it's hard to cover everybody. Everybody's going to want to set out something along there. You know how it is.
Yeah.
When we come to Memorial Day weekend, you go drive down 221, you're going to see one about every half mile. There's a yard sale. But we're trying to cover all those events and let everybody know and keep people informed about what's going on in Floyd, because, as I've said before, there's a lot going on in Floyd, and there's a lot for everybody to see and do, and it's just a matter of keeping up with it all.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, y'all, if you haven't already, go like us on that Facebook page. If you have YouTube, go subscribe to us, Spotify, any of those platforms, so that when these new episodes drop, you can listen to them and be informed. And don't hesitate to reach out. All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this week's episode. Just want to take a quick second to say thank you to our production team that's behind the scenes making this thing happen. And we want to give a special shout out to ZZ Weeks and Bryce Big Country Cockrum for editing our podcast and really doing all the magic behind the scenes. They're really driving this thing. So thank you guys a bunch, and thank you to our listeners. We appreciate every single one of you, whether you listen to it once or 10 times. I don't know why you listened to it 10 times, but I appreciate you if you did. Appreciate every single one of you. And until next time, y'all, take care.